Good evening. I'm Elizabeth Berry, and today I will be presenting my AI toolkit. So today, these featured AI tools that I really looked at are ChatGPT, Lexia, specifically Lexia Core 5 Reading, and Audio Pen. When I went into ChatGPT, I just asked how, in just a couple sentences, how would you describe ChatGPT? And what it gave me was ChatGPT is an advanced AI language model that understands and generates human-like text, answering questions, providing recommendations, and assisting with various tasks. It can engage in conversations, help with writing, analyze information, and adapt to different topics and tones. And like I said, that is directly from ChatGPT. So ChatGPT, like I said, it's an AI tool. You put in a text, a question, or a prompt of what you're wanting, and it gives you back an answer. Really in a text message like fashion. It's really like you're talking just with another person. As a primary teacher, I use ChatGPT a lot. It's been really useful from creating oral reading fluency passages all the way to parent communication. If there are times where, especially if it's a difficult sort of conversation with a parent, and we use Classroom Dojo, and I want to tread my words, lightly, be very careful with what I say. I might put into ChatGPT, how would you respond to this situation? And it gives me at least a starting point. A lot of times I won't just go straight copy paste, but it kind of gives me an idea of like, this would look good, this would sound respectful and professional, and kind of help me, especially if my nerves are up and it's hard for me to really think through what I'm needing to say. Like I said, I also use it with oral reading fluency passages. In second grade, that's a big part of what we do, seeing how many words in a passage can a student read in a minute correctly, and how can they comprehend what they read. And so we're still teaching phonics in second grade. So I can go into ChatGPT and type something like, I need a passage with about 80 to 85 words with an emphasis on the spelling patterns, AROR, and ERIRUR. Or go in and say with a focus on vowel team syllables, or open-close syllables, or all the syllable types. And it'll generate that, which, that saves a lot of time. that can be pretty time consuming to come up with those sort of passages on your own. And so that's a really useful tool. Some pros to it, it's very user friendly. I mean, you don't really need, in my opinion, much instruction on it. It comes very naturally. It is free. There is a premium that you can buy it. It doesn't really add a whole lot to the experience, though. And it's one of the biggest things is it saves previous chats. So I can go back into my ChatGPT account and it'll automatically start me on a new one, but I can look at prompts I've given back in 2023 or last school year or before Christmas. And so that's very useful. One pretty big con about ChatGPT is it might make stuff up. If it doesn't know, it doesn't always say that's not something that is in my intelligence base or anything like that. It can just make stuff up. There was a court case in, I believe, New York. I'm not positive, but it was up, I think, more north of us. And these lawyers use ChatGPT to form all their documents and all the materials. And when the opposing lawyers were looking at it, there was stuff in their cases. It cited cases that were fictional, purely fictional, and just made up because it didn't know. And so if you're not going back and proofreading it, there could be stuff in there that's just purely incorrect, just completely fictional. It will cut you off after so many words. It'll just say that you're done with this chat, or you can't ask any more questions right now, wait some time. That can easily be bypassed just by creating a new chat. And you could type in the last prompt you gave and pick right up from there. So that's really not a big deal. It can be a little inconvenient, but it doesn't hurt much. Lexia. So if you go on Lexia's website, specifically, like I said, Lexia Core 5, they say that it's built on the science of reading. Lexia Core 5 reading, is a research-proven program that accelerates the development of literacy skills for students of all abilities, helping them make the critical shift from learning to read to reading to learn. That shift is a really important part in second grade, which, like I said, that's where I am, and so that's really what I focus on, that shift from learning to read, reading to learn. We use Lexia in my school. Lexia uses a pre-assessment to determine any learning gaps a student might have, and then it takes the results of those pre-assessments and those determined learning gaps, and it assigns them to lessons to target those specific skills. So it's great as an intervention tool. Excuse me. They're pretty engaging lessons. They like to level. There's different levels is what they call it, and they level up. The different levels have different themes. One might be an Asian jungle scene. One might be ancient Egypt. One might be under the ocean. And so while it's these literacy skills, all the way down to like phonics, so vowel teams, consonant blends, digraphs, it's all centered around these different themes. The passages that they read are about the themes they learn about those areas, and it's very interesting, and the students really do enjoy that aspect of it. Some pros, it serves as a really good intervention. Like I said, it finds where they have these learning gaps, excuse me, and puts them where they need that intervention, where they don't have what they already need. It also, if you have students that don't need intervention, they don't really have learning gaps, they really need extension, it offers that. It gives them kind of still on their grade level, but it does boost them up where it's more the reading comprehension, that reading to learn, and so it offers some extension and enrichment for the students that need that. It also, on the teacher side of it, gives work-based paperwork that you can print off and actually do one-on-one with the students on the lessons that they need. You could group kids that have similar needs and do small group with these lessons. It gives you maybe cards to cut out to do certain things, manipulatives. Or you can send it home for parents that are not really sure what they can do to help. And it tracks their progress. Teachers can monitor their progress from where they were, if you've had it for several years, where they were when they started back in kindergarten, first, second, whatever grade, up to where they are now, or just look at how they've gone in your classroom. It also shows time that has been spent working. So you can tell the difference and have the data to prove students that are really working and trying and engaging with the material, and students that are sitting there on their Chromebook not really doing anything, just sitting there waiting until the time is up. It is pretty costly. It costs $175 for the first student and $110 for each student after that. So you don't just get like a school account or anything like that. So it adds up. It's pretty costly. And if you are only buying, which would make sense, as many licenses as you have students, and it's for a full year. So what if a student moves? Well, that money's just gone. Or if a student comes in, they just don't have a Lexia account unless you're willing to spend the full amount for what they only might get for 6 months out of the year, 4 months out of the school year. And so that can get a little dicey, a little difficult, especially on the administrative side of deciding what to do. It's purely auditory. Instructions are only read to students. There's no closed captioning, so students that are harder of hearing and maybe could benefit from seeing the words of what to do, that it doesn't offer that. It also, you do not move up levels until you pass a level, which is good. You don't want students to just breeze through, but students that are really, really struggling and might do poorly on the checks to move on could lose morale and really be discouraged by just being on the same thing over and over again. And I have not, on the teacher side, been able to find a way to bypass that at all for a student that I think I know kind of what their abilities are. I know that they could do this. Whatever's happening on the Chromebook, and there's no way to bypass that. And so that can be a challenge. And then I looked at AudioPen. AudioPen, from their own website, converts voice notes into text that's easy to read and ready to share. So AudioPen is an app found online that you can use on your phone, Chromebook, if that's what you're using in your schools, computers. It's really across the board as long as there's a microphone to use. It takes voice recordings and turns them into texts. This would be really useful for students with IEPs, with their writing, 504s, or just that struggle in general with writing, having a hard time getting their words that they could recite and getting it onto paper. Below attached is a clip, a little demo on how to use AudioPen. It's also found on their website. Some pros. There is a free version that you can just go to. It doesn't have all the features. You can upgrade to a Prime version if you would like to and get some more stuff. But from what I saw and messed around with, the free version was perfectly fine. Like I said, it could be used on computers, Chromebooks, phones, etc. Whatever your school is using, as long as there's internet, and a microphone, like I said, it can be used on that device. The AI trains to use a similar voice to that of the user, so it gets to be where the writing that it is using sounds and feels like the voice of the user that's using that. So it feels genuine, it feels sincere. One big thing, especially I'm in a primary classroom, it does pick up outside noise, which there can be a lot of, especially with younger kids. It can be hard to kind of cut that noise out. It can also be distracting for other students. When students are writing, they may use something like we have whisper phones, so they are able to whisper to themselves really quietly what they're saying, what they're wanting to get out. But a student talking at normal volume can be very distracting, and if you don't have a system kind of in place to accommodate that could be a challenge in the classroom. And it doesn't always pick up on the context or the nuance of what's being spoken. So what it types up, what it gives out might not quite fit exactly what was said. So in conclusion, to me, AI, it's a relatively new tool and a really powerful tool that teachers can, and honestly I think should, be using. Technology and AI, it's only going to advance. It's not going away. So I think, should just be using it to the best of our advantage. Teachers should be mindful of the limitations of AI, because there are some. But if the time is taken to learn about these tools, really see how to best use it, it can really be a benefit to both teachers and students. These are the references I used.